Hey guys, John and Jackie with OpenLove101.com. Welcome to our show. And today is another episode of Ask John and Jackie, where we answer questions that you have left for us either on any of our social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, Reddit. You might have emailed us. So, Courtney, here we go.
All right, so this one comes from an email submission, and it says, it's pretty long. Hey, John and Jackie, I hope all is well with you guys. I was going to ask if you guys could address on your podcast, if you haven't already, being a single swinger, not a unicorn necessarily, but a single swinger. I started my journey in as a married swinger going to your club in Austin, and I decided to stay in the lifestyle. No, I don't consider myself as a unicorn because I personally don't like to be a third wheel in someone else's relationship. I'm looking for a friend with benefits or a relationship in the lifestyle and sharing those four-way swaps and those fantasies. So I was going to see if that is something that you guys could definitely address, being a single swinger, both male and female. Again, putting emphasis on the difference between a unicorn and a female swinger, single swinger, and the difference between a bluefish and a male swinger. Feel free to reach out if you guys have any questions about my journey.
All right. That's a really great question, actually. And I want to start by addressing the question in of itself. You know, I think as single people going to a club or an event that's a lifestyle event where it's involved, people that are swingers or in open relationships or poly relationships, each single person that attends an event has a different, some could have the same, but there are different reasons you could be there. And you've just outlined one in what you're looking for. We have women that come to our club and they're looking for another single man or a guy by himself or a guy without his partner that they can play with one-on-one. There are women that come to the club that are looking for that threesome, and they don't necessarily consider themselves a third wheel. They want to interact with, within that threesome. There could be women that are looking to be a third wheel and just be a part of that. There could be women that are looking for what you're looking for, to find another single person that will essentially have an open relationship with or a swinger relationship, and then find other couples to soft swap or full swap with. So, I mean, it runs the gamut. You can go out there.
Endless.
What's that?
It could be endless.
Yeah. I mean, you really, anything that what we love about our clubs and about our lifestyle is there's really not a set, defined relationship model and what you can do within that relationship. You can make it your own, whatever you want it to be, as an individual or as a couple. And I think that's the beautiful thing about it. Honestly, I never really have felt that great about monogamy and what it stands for. And now it's great for some people out there, but for me, it's just never been something that fit with my makeup. And fortunately, I've found someone to spend my life with that is on the same page, and we're doing that together. And I think it sounds like you're in a similar boat. You really enjoy some of the aspects of being in an open relationship or a swinger relationship, and that's what you're looking for. And I think absolutely you can find it in the clubs. You can find it on some of the swinger dating sites like SDC, maybe some of the phone apps, even Tinder and some of those things like that can help you try and find a single person that has the same kind of open-mindedness that you do. I'm all about it. Did I answer that, I think?
I think so. I mean, one of the things that I hear from that question is this real need to define who she is by a labeling standard, which there's nothing wrong with that. But what's interesting to me is the beauty of who she is when she describes what it is she's hoping to find. To me, that's a much better definition of who she is than some one word or two word or list of words that she's thinking is going to describe who she is.
Why do we do that?
I don't. I mean, to me, it's like if you just have this beautiful conversation of that statement about where she's, what it is that she's hoping to find. To me, there's a beauty in that communication instead of just coming up and saying, I'm a single woman, or I'm a unicorn, or I don't even know what else.
A bluefish. I mean, I don't even know what the hell a bluefish is. That's a new one to me.
I know, I'm gonna have to look that up. I know what a bull is, but
I'm a Scottish. What am I? The Scottish Highland bull, which means I'm a bull with red hair. That's only when I'm by myself in the club. Otherwise, I'm something else, and I have to look that one up. I'm the 2.0 version of that, by the way, meaning that I go for these certain things and not these. To me, it just can go on and on. It's like the label of the day today. It's every day a new label comes up.
Yeah, and we kind of miss just that organic conversation that we're having with people. I mean, I'm Jackie, and I'm just going to have a conversation with you, and who I am will just naturally come up and out of that. I think the problem that we have today sometimes is we can be so defining that we almost end up restricting ourselves. We end up, because once you've defined something, it becomes this one thing. And the more we do that, we're just adding on these little tiny things and just are kind of this strange conglomeration instead of just letting who we are just kind of seep out and be.
Well, and I think, so for me, all these years that I've been in the lifestyle, so to speak, I guess, and there's a label, people would ask, what are you? Do you like this? Do you like that? I said, I'm just open-minded. I mean, that was my pat answer for many, many years.
It still is to a degree.
It is. I mean, I really am. I'm open-minded. I mean, is this something new? I'll give it a try. Rather than putting myself in a box, as like Jackie was describing, we put ourselves in a box with labels, and we're so much more than that.
Yeah.
And I think what's happened, this is just a theory of mine, I think through the internet and this communication we have through the internet, we don't really socialize like we used to, but pre-internet. I mean, in the past, I would meet someone in a bar or at a restaurant, and we would have a conversation about who she is, about who I am. I would tell her things I like. She would tell me the things that she liked. Today, it's just like we have a label. Oh, I'm a unicorn. No, I don't do that. I'm a unicorn. I mean, what happened to communication? One of the things I love about going to a club or an event, a takeover, we're going on a cruise soon, is meeting people. And that doesn't mean meeting them just by putting a label on our shirt. This is who I am. So if you don't like this, then I don't really want to talk to you. Talk to people and find out who they are, and tell them who you are and what your likes and dislikes are. That's the human thing going on here that I really miss today sometimes when people they introduce themselves to me as something. This is my label. And real honestly, half the time I don't even know what it is. I got to pull out my phone and go, look what it is they're talking about. I only heard bull recently.
Yeah.
And I mean, just talk. Just talk. And this person asked a question. I think it's a great question. And what I think is funny is how the interesting part of your question is how you talk about the fact that you're just a single woman, not a unicorn. And I used to, years ago, I always thought a unicorn was just a single woman that was in a play space. It didn't define that she wanted to be with a couple, or if she wanted to be with a single, or if she wanted to have this experience or that. It just defined her as a single woman that came to the club, because there really weren't that many single women that came to the club. And so they were a fantasy, just like a unicorn is. So that's what a unicorn was. It didn't really define what she was there for sexually. It was just, this is a woman coming to the club or event by herself. Now, somehow, based on what this question is, it's changed. It's become more than that.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I would just, if I could say one thing to this woman, just go to the club, enjoy yourself, meet as many people as you want, and just have fun.
And tell people who you are and what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Awesome. And then the last question came from our Instagram, and it was, I'm very inexperienced in the lifestyle. I actually became a unicorn to a lovely couple, and they invited me to a private pool party at their home. Any tips would be greatly appreciated. Anything from etiquette to things that I need to be aware of. anything to help me navigate being a unicorn to a couple.
That's so funny. I mean, it's like, again, this is about communication and comprehension. This is about, opening up those lines of conversation with the person that you're with.
Yeah.
How do you see this? How do I see this? What are our definitions of these roles, I guess, that we've placed ourselves? I mean, because it almost kind of sounds like that's what she's done. Like, she's in this space that she's supposed to be providing a certain degree of something.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's not even the case. She's just this woman that they enjoy. It's not like she has to do something specific, but she won't know that unless she has those conversations.
Yeah. I mean, I think in this case, for me, I would just, obviously we don't know the whole story here. I don't know how well you know them, how much talk you've had about what it is.
I mean, she said she's new. So
the definition of being a unicorn in this case. So what you're really asking, in my opinion, you're a woman that's going to go join a couple to a pool event, and you don't know what's going to happen. Well, I mean, you are in control of whatever happens there. So that's up to you. Through conversation, you can find out what they're into, what their likes and dislikes are. And if you are down with those things, then, they can happen. If you're not, then just communicate that you're not really, interested in doing that. It's really just about going and having a good time without any expectations, and then communicate with each other about where it's going to go from there. Right. Or it can just happen organically. I mean, there's many times that we've been with somebody and we didn't really talk about what was going to happen. We didn't really talk about who we were, or, what, if we, labeling ourselves. It just kind of happened organically, and it ended up being a great time. So,
well, and, and I do kind of see what she's saying. There could be those questions that you have. So, because you were invited by this couple, are they expecting you to just hang out with them? Are you going to be free to interact with other people? Again, those are those kinds of conversations that I'm talking about when you are hooking up with another couple. Like, what does their definition of that mean as opposed to your definition of that? And how can those two things come together so that everybody feels as though they're being heard and that they're both satisfied with that? Because you would hate to get there and do something and then this other people get mad because you haven't had that conversation. Like, you were just supposed to be with us and not anybody else. It's like, oh, but we didn't have that conversation.
It's funny you look at it that way, because I'm seeing it as we're going to these couples' house just to enjoy the pool with this couple.
Oh, I'm thinking it's a party. Yeah.
So I guess it could be either way.
Communication. Like,
it is a pool party.
Yeah.
To clarify, it is a private pool party. I don't know the guest size.
Right.
But a party
it could be a pool party of 3 people.
Right.
Well, again, see, this is why communication is so important. Like, you can show up and there can just be the couple, or you can show up and there can be 50 other people there. So,
I mean, if it were me and I'm going to somebody's pool party invited by the couple to go with them, I guess it would be just, depends on how far along that relationship is.
Yeah.
To what you can do and what you can do. So, but I'm not going to let anyone control me when I'm there. I mean, if I end up meeting someone I really enjoy, I would just tell them I'm going to go hang out with them for a little bit. But just have a good time. No expectations. Have fun out there. And if you have any more questions, go to our Instagram /OpenLove101. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yes. And we will try to answer them on our podcast or on our Open Love 101 Plus page, which is a great you could
paid site.
Yeah. And there are many more things there that we offer just besides our podcast. We have webinars and one-on-one talks on Facebook and so on and so forth. Anything else? Do we have any more questions, Courtney?
No, that's it.
Thanks for joining us today. See ya.
Dang, I learned a lot from that video. Subscribe and you can learn a lot more.